And welcome backstage once again to Rock on the River 5. I'm sitting here with Sleeper Agent. Guys, welcome back to Jacksonville. It's been a couple of years now. Huh?
Yeah, we played this stage last time we were here.
Well, wasn't this? Oh, yes, it was.
Yeah, it was.
All right, Rock on the River 2. It's part 2.
Okay.
The most stupid name we've ever. We really just wanted to confuse everybody. We had no other reason than people were like, why is it 2 part 2? We have no idea.
Because.
But then we didn't do a 3. We just did a 4. And then I thought like 10 years from now we could do a 3. It'd be like the Lost Rock on the River.
This is complicated. Do you have graphs?
I swear to you, this is only to make me and like 2-3 people we work with laugh and just feel
very happy.
reason.
Yeah,
it's literally no other reason. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But yeah, the last time you guys played, we had a tropical storm bearing down on us. So we moved it in here to Mavericks, wonderful host today for our VIP area. And you guys absolutely killed it on stage.
Thank you.
It was a really fun show. Like there were like kids hanging off the railings
For their dear lives.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It was great. There was cigarette eating on the stage at that show. Some dude crowd surfed while playing a keyboard.
Foxy
Shazam, we're talking about you. Yeah, it was a crazy show. Well, welcome back. It's great to see you guys again. New album.
Yeah,
That's
new
exciting.
album.
Mm-hmm. Is there a big change, a divergence from the last to this?
I would say definitely the next step. So there's a change, but it's still us.
But it sounds like there's some kind of musical evolution you're talking about.
Yeah, musical and personal in a lot of ways. I was 17 years old when we recorded the first album, and I was 20 when we did this one, so there was a lot of growth just as a person for me and as a singer. And then, of course, songwriting.
Oh, yeah, totally.
There was another...
Oh, yeah. Like, it was like just a lot more like overthinking, I guess, instead of just getting wasted and pinning a 2.5-minute song. Yeah.
Well, I'll say this. Some of the best songs were penned in 2.5 minutes.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd be I would say that Beyonce doesn't come up with the genius. I don't think you're ready for this jelly in more than 2.5 minutes, but apparently that's how long she took.
I think she does, but I think she needs 15 other people
helping her write it.
To help her write it, yes.
So let's talk a little bit about the songwriting process then. A lot of people, they really pour heart and soul. They get real personal on an album. Some other bands, they just tend to make music that people enjoy, like singing to. They try and get it catchier to the point where it's easy to memorize. There are definitely fans of both schools. Where would you guys categorize yourselves?
I'd say like right down the middle, because whereas I feel like we want to convey all of our petty, whiny emotions to everybody, just getting a lot of crap up our chest. At the same time, we really do want to entertain. We want to make ourselves have fun on stage and make the people listening to it have a good time as well. So it's like, where do you find that fine line?
Yeah, so I mean, the lyrics can tend to be on the personal side, but they're still fun. We still want you to enjoy it. You don't have to pick it apart, but you can if you want.
Get a nice variety, I think, now.
Yeah.
Does it ever get too personal for any of you on stage? Is there ever something that may be a little too close to home, and when you wrote it or began practicing it in the studio, you're like, man, this really feels right, and then you get out on stage in front of people you've never met before who don't understand your experience, and then you're like, I just don't enjoy playing this anymore?
Nah, not for me at least.
I think it's always too personal, but it's very heavily coded. So, I mean, there's those walls upon walls upon walls of code that anybody has to break down to know exactly what we're talking about.
Like encrypted songwriting.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, when you bring it on that level every night, like the other night, Scott cut his finger trying to make a new hole in his belt, and then he played the show, and there was blood everywhere on his keyboard and all over all of his equipment and stuff. And it's just, when you're putting that much into it.
Yeah, performance-wise too, you're kind of in like this weird zone. So I don't know if.
So you don't even feel the crowd at that point?
No, I'm totally there with the crowd, but I'm saying like
outside of
my
your own
personal
head?
Stuff is totally out the window.
It's interesting. I'm not sure, and again, I'm not a performer. I'm not out there performing. I'm certainly not comfortable with much stage work, but to separate what's going on in your own life, what happened in the 23 hours and 59 minutes before you hopped up on the stage, to then get on there, be in a different world, it seems like it would be difficult for most people. I guess that's what separates people from bands and performers.
It's kind of therapeutic if you let it be.
Well, that and also that 30, 45 minutes you're playing is the release from all the day-to-day kind of malarkey, for lack of a better word.
Language.
Yeah.
There's been times that you and I have been like in a fight or something, and then we'll kind of work it out on stage and then be like totally fine afterwards.
Controversy, there's blood, fighting, all kinds of stuff.
It's like a reality TV show, except it's a performance that lasts 30 minutes and not 10 seasons.
It's interesting you mentioned reality TV. There are a lot of bands out there. One of my favorite bands of the world, Manchester Orchestra, is one of these bands where they're starting to do webisodes to kind of give another dimension to the band for fans to kind of follow along. Hey, you guys in Sleeper Agent think of doing any kind of media like that?
We started out our career doing a lot of webisodes and just stopped.
Mainly because I think the reason we stopped though is because we were filming everything and not experiencing everything.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Because we were filming it ourselves,
Yeah.
But I think we have this idea, and it might happen, it might not, of just doing like a weekly or just like whenever on the road weekly pop podcast.
Yeah.
Where it's just like us talking for an hour and catching up with people.
Sure,
and
something for the fans to see kind of behind the scenes, get to know you guys on maybe a more personal level.
Yeah,
maybe?
and I think that would be interesting, and I don't...
And there's like little cooler projects you can do besides like webisodes. Like we've got a couple things in the works that I think our fans are really going to enjoy.
But Tony and I are always creating. We do a lot of the video stuff, and so that's another fun part of it for me.
And they told you can't be in the videos until you cut your hair, basically? Is that...
I need a haircut, don't I?
You do not need a haircut.
I'm the one
you are in the
It's
perfect
been
profession
months.
to not get a haircut.
Yeah, I fight for him not to cut
Does
it.
anybody here cut hair?
Oh, we can make a video out of that. I mean, we could just find... there's got to be a blind
Does
person
anyone
out
want to
there
try
that
to
you
cut
can-
hair?
Yeah, or really just the bangs for today.
We could just real quick run and get a Flowbee. You ever hear of a Flowbee?
Yes.
Anybody out
The
there know what a
suck
Flowbee
cut.
is? No? Nothing?
Like
All right,
from
fair
Wayne's
enough.
World.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll just date myself. It's fine.
Isn't it like it's like the 80s infomercial?
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 80s. That, for those of you who that was the time before the 90s, which is when most of you were born, and then, 2000s came, but that's fair enough. So what's next for Sleeper Agent? You guys played here, you played Tampa yesterday. What's moving forward?
We are doing...
Flowbee Fest.
Be the most awesome festival in the world. It'd be great.
We're doing a few dates with Fits and the Tantrums and with Group Love in June. Separate sections, not all together.
Both
and then,
tremendous
That would be
fun
great,
bands,
though.
though.
yeah,
Sure.
and I'm really excited for that. We're doing Firefly Fest, and then in July we're doing 3 weeks of the Warped Tour.
So you'll be back in Florida for that, too.
Yeah, I think so. I think we will.
Well, can't wait to see you guys on the stage. Thank you so much for coming through and
Yeah,
playing
thanks for
for these
having
nice
us.
people. That's just awesome of you guys. Thank you for coming back.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
That's Sleeper Agent, backstage, Rock on the River 5.